Hello and welcome back to Railroad Acres. Today's part 5 of our emergency communications plan series, and we're going to be talking about um, ways you can use your cell phone that maybe you haven't considered in an emergency. All right, so if you found this series at all useful, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and you can also check us out at theravenwoodacres.com for more information and product links to things we discuss in our videos. All right. So I'm going to break this down into three phases: the before disaster, during a disaster, and after a disaster. Okay, so starting with before, we're going to talk a little bit about what you should do with your cell phone before a disaster, meaning now. After this video, during this video, I don't care what you do. If you haven't done some of these things, I highly, highly, highly recommend you do them. So first is program your just in case emergency, your ICE contacts into your phone. If you don't know what those are, just go into the contacts list. I'm going to mainly refer to Android products because that's what I am familiar with and own. But in your contacts, there's a just in case of an emergency, you can save those. And those are all there. Make sure people know that you've put them in there, because that way if someone does get a hold of your phone in that emergency mode, even with it locked out, they can find those emergency contacts. Say they find you unconscious somewhere or severely injured, and get a hold of somebody in that contact list. So it'd be good that they know that they're in your emergency contact list, so if they get a random phone call, they hopefully will answer it. I know today that's a challenge. Sorry, I'm messing with my microphone. And then also program in those non-emergency numbers. And if you're one of those individuals, I have a family member that's this way. Love her, so it's okay. Program phone numbers into your primary contacts, people that you normally contact. Program those into your phone, because that way, even if your phone is inoperable for some reason, still powers on, and you're trying to use somebody else's phone, you have them in there listed by their name. It's very helpful. Download offline maps. If you're a Google Maps user, or I know they use them. There's like apps like Maps ME, a free version or a paid for version, where you can download offline maps of your local area. Especially if you're a commuter or somebody that works quite a ways away from where you live. Maybe you need a few more areas downloaded so that you have all those areas. That way, if cell service is down or whatever, and you're trying to navigate home on a non-standard route, you can use your navigation features on your phone as long as it's still operational. Those other apps, as I'm talking about, if you don't use any of the apps like Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp, I'm not a fan of WhatsApp anymore, but I do use Signal and Telegram. Those allow you to use basically anything any connection, whether it's Wi-Fi or a cellular signal, to send messages. So maybe the local cell tower is down because of the type of disaster, took out a cell tower, tornadoes, those type of things. Now you have maybe you can get find a hotspot that you can connect to, like at a cafe or something like that, and still be able to get a hold of your family and let them know you're okay and what your plans are following that. So pardon me again. And then big thing is build a kit. I should have had this out already, but these are great little You can find them all over their organizers, travel organizers, whatnot. But you can have them built with, and I'll have some links down below to like these kits. But like say you got your charge cables, a charger, the wall adapter, the car adapter. Yes, you might have all your cars equipped with that, but wonder if you're on foot, and then you could find some place to plug in, or you're getting a ride from somebody and they don't have a car charger for some whatever reason. You just never know. And then of course your the battery packs, and I don't have mine right here. I should have. But your Anchor battery packs. I've got the Storm 2. These are kind of excessive for the kits, right? Because they're large. A 10,000 milliamp hour one. I'll have a link down below from Anchor. I have a couple of those that I gave to my sons that they can put in their school backpacks, right? So that way, after school, they're at sports or whatever, and their phones die, they can they can hook up and charge their phone so they can get a hold of mom and dad or whatever to get a ride, or sister to get a ride. So those things are all important. So build those kits, have them for each family member. Yeah, you could store them in the vehicle if your family members are okay with a go bag scenario. That would be a good place to build it and put it in the go bag. And then go bag, bug out bag, whatever. Go bag, I like that term. So sorry. And then also, make sure you have downloaded the right, those apps we talked about, and the monitoring, that scanner app. That's a good one. If your phone manufacturer, which I tried on both mine before this video, one phone was manufactured here, or is a local South Korean Samsung phone. My other Samsung phone from the US. Neither of them will let me use that Next radio. If you didn't know, your phones are equipped with a FM receiver in the chip, so they should be able to receive FM radio frequencies from your local area. However, for some reason, the cell phone companies have decided that they want to block them. That feature, from what I read, and the article was old, I've tried to find some more information. So if you have more information, please put in comments down below. But phones that were manufactured in Mexico seem to be the only ones currently, and that article was 2017, so fairly old. So if you are able to download that FM radio, like Next Radio app or whatever, to use the actual, not over the internet, but actually use over the radio waves, that would be a way for you to monitor current situations if internet service, cellular services are down, what's going on as things develop. Preload files onto your phone, have a secure, use the secure folder feature, like on Androids or phones. That's a common thing. Apple, I'm sure they have something similar on the iPhones. Have that set up there with maybe some important files on there. Make sure obviously it's secure with either password, pins, fingerprints, some sort of security. That way somebody gets a hold of your phone, not anyone just has access to it. And then practice your ICE plan, your in case of emergency plan, with your family. I know a lot of them won't want to go along with it, but emergency is the last time you want to find out, what the kinks in your plans are. So I recommend practicing. Okay, so during disaster, as a disaster is happening and developing, whatever it may be, natural, man-made, it is always recommended to use text messaging or messaging apps like I talked about earlier, like Signal or Telegram, and keep it brief. If you've pre-planned some of these things, you can have pre-canned messages basically saying, hey, scenario happens while you're at work. I'm okay. I'm attempting to get home, route through primary route. And your family member knows what that primary route is. Or alternate route 1, alternate route 2, whatever you want to name them, figure that out. That way they know, like date and time stamp, you are alive, your proof of life, right? And the method you were trying to get home and how. So you can also use email to text, as I talked about in part 1. I'll throw up here in the video some features for that, and also a link for an article you can read about it. But You can literally send from email, like, so you're in your office building. You could have a pre-programmed, draft in your email box with all your primary, in case of emergency contacts, mom, dad, wife, sister, brothers, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, you name it, kids, all listed in there, and say, hey, blah, 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 disaster happened. I'm okay. I'm leaving the office now, heading home, route such and such. And you blast that out. Hopefully that goes out. That's, one attempt. You can do it as you go. And of course, while this is occurring, once you've probably, that initial attempt to make contact, put your phone in power saver mode, and that way you're conserving battery. Yes, you have a battery backup, but you don't know how long you should have. You don't have battery backup. Hopefully you do. If you're in your car, of course, make sure it's always equipped with a car charger and a cable, and then your little Go kit is a backup to that. For some reason your cable stops working, or the car charger in the car stops working, whatnot. You have some redundancies to your system. And so yeah, so don't waste the battery just because you think you have backup, because you never know what's going to happen. Something stops working, or you end up out of contact for longer than you were expecting, or out of access to power. You massive storm or whatever, and wipes out power, and you name. Oops, sorry. You name the scenario, it can happen. And then, so after the disaster is pretty simple. Really just, move to your contact timeline in accordance with your emergency communications plan. So at the top of the hour, the bottom of the hour, 15 minutes after the hour, whatever. That's why this practice is important. Your family members are going to be anxious to hear from you and know that you're okay, and know if you're making progress at getting home or whatnot. All right. So having that schedule might frustrate people, but it also, they will know, hey, 15 minutes after the hour, dad should be calling or messaging saying, I'm still stuck in traffic, but I'm making progress. I'm still headed south. Looks like I'll be home in an hour, and whatever. Obviously still keep it short. Don't ramble ramble on. If it seems like the situation is going to extend over a few hours, start sending out, or even during your initial push of messages, send out those proof of life messages outside your local area to pre-designated contacts, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, best friends, high school buddies, whatever it is that you've already designated. They know that you're going to send them this message in case of emergency, that, hey, last time I heard from Jake, he was on, U.S. route such and such. He was just outside of city such and such, heading south, stuck in stop and go traffic, but car's working, has enough gas, and he's okay. That way, like I said, worst case scenario, people can put the pieces back together and hopefully maybe find you if they can't get a hold of you during that period of time. All right, so that pretty much covers it. Like I said, the biggest thing is really where you need to do this, where your cell phones become, the most useful they can be, because if the cellular service is out in your local area, it's still a very useful device. They can have useful mapping features because the GPS could still be working, hopefully, and you can have files on there. You can have all those, as I put up in the video there, the text to or email the text, vice versa features. There's also one feature I want to touch on too, is you can set up in Androids, I believe, a way to forward all your messages that you receive in your phone, your SMS type text messages, to an email. So they'll basically be backed up, and you're also in your personal email, which you can access anywhere, even if, this thing gets ran over, destroyed, dropped in the water, whatever. you can still get your hands on it, which I think would be a great feature. Also to use, I forgot to mention that earlier. So the key is the before a disaster, just spend the time, set your phone up, download these offline maps, download the apps you're going to use, set up an account, build in the Telegram account or your Signal account, build a, ICE emergency group and make every one of your family members, whether they want to or not, your kids and whatnot, join that group. That way you can send one message, and they all hopefully all receive it. That way, if one person out of that group for some reason his phone's dead or unable to, whatever, it's disabled, someone gets that message in that group and knows, hey, dad or mom or my brother or whatever is okay, and this is where they're at, and this is what they're doing to try to get home or get wherever, get to our pre-designated meetup location. All right, I hope you guys all found this useful. Once again, if you like this video series, if you like this content that we're producing here in Ravenwood Acres, please like, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our other social media links, which are linked down below. Keep up to date with us over at our website. We got a whole lot of really cool stuff coming. I'll be back on Ravenwood Acres in about 3 months. I'm really excited. Things are going to be awesome. I tell you this, the rest of this year and into next year, we're going to do some really cool stuff. So please follow us along and be a part of our journey, and have a great day.